Have you noticed yourself getting unusually thirsty lately? Maybe you're waking up at night just to use the bathroom, or that tiny cut on your hand that just won't heal. My friends, these aren't just little inconveniences. They could be your body's way of whispering, "Pay attention, something isn't right." Here on Senior Health After 50, we believe those whispers matter. Because if you catch them early, you don't just add years to your life, you add life to your years. Today, I'm going to share 5 early signs of type 2 diabetes that too many people over 50 overlook. And trust me, spotting them early could change everything. And before we dive in, if you find value in videos like this, I'd love for you to like this video, share it with a friend, leave me a comment, and subscribe to our channel. It's the best way to keep this community growing and to make sure you never miss the health tips that can make all the difference for your future. Type 2 diabetes has quietly become one of the most common conditions in older adults. And here's the part that keeps me awake at night. Millions of people have it and they don't even know. Why? Because the warning signs are sneaky. They don't show up with flashing lights or sirens. They slip into your daily routine so subtly that most people explain them away. You feel a little more tired? Well, that must be aging. You get up to use the bathroom at night? Must be the water you drank before bed. A cut on your hand takes weeks to heal. Oh, my skin just isn't what it used to be. That's exactly how diabetes hides. It doesn't march in loudly, it whispers, and too often, we ignore it. The World Health Organization tells us something shocking. 1 in 2 adults over 50 are at risk of diabetes, and more than half of them don't even realize it. Think about that for a moment. Imagine you're sitting at a dinner table with 4 of your friends your age. Statistically, 2 of you are already on the path toward diabetes, and 1 of you doesn't even know it. This is the part where knowledge matters. When Steve Jobs was diagnosed with cancer, he famously said that getting clarity about his health changed the way he valued his time. He began to see every day differently. That's the same mindset we need with diabetes. Clarity, knowing the truth, gives us back control. I've seen this in my own patients countless times. A man in his 60s comes in, insisting he's just slowing down with age. But the truth is, his constant fatigue, his blurry vision, his unexpected weight loss, all of it was his body's way of sounding the alarm. He didn't have an old age problem, he had diabetes. And here's the irony. Many of the world's most powerful figures, presidents, CEOs, visionaries schedule regular checkups, not because they're sick, but because they understand one thing. You can't manage what you don't measure. They don't leave their health to chance, and neither should you. So, the real problem with type 2 diabetes isn't just the disease itself, it's the silence, the subtlety, the way it convinces us that nothing is wrong until it's almost too late. 5 early signs of type 2 diabetes. 1. Constant thirst and frequent urination. One of the clearest early signs of diabetes is relentless thirst, followed by those endless trips to the bathroom, often at night, when you should be resting. Medically, the explanation is simple. When sugar builds up in your blood, your body desperately tries to flush it out. The kidneys go into overdrive, pulling water from your tissues, leaving you dehydrated no matter how much you drink. I remember one gentleman in his late 60s who joked with me, saying, "Doc, I think I've moved into my bathroom permanently." He thought it was just aging, maybe too much tea before bed. But the truth was, his body was crying out for attention. That joke was really a symptom of something serious. And here's where the wisdom of powerful leaders can teach us something. Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest men in the world, has often said that the secret to his longevity is routine checkups. He doesn't ignore small warning signs because he understands that overlooking a minor detail in business can collapse an empire, just as ignoring thirst and urination changes can collapse your health. Buffett's mindset is simple but profound. Act early, and you buy yourself decades of tomorrow. 2. Unexplained weight loss. At first glance, losing weight without trying might feel like a blessing, but in medicine, we see it as one of the most deceptive warning signs of type 2 diabetes. When your cells can't absorb sugar for energy, the body turns to burning fat and muscle. You eat the same meals, live the same way, but the pounds melt off as if something inside is quietly consuming you. I recall a patient, a retired engineer in his early 70s, who proudly told me he had dropped 15 pounds in just a few months. He thought it was proof that his metabolism was still young. But lab work told a different story. His blood sugar was dangerously high, and the weight loss wasn't health, it was his body breaking itself down. And we've all seen this lesson play out on the world stage. Think about Steve Jobs. Long before his illness was public, the world noticed his dramatic weight loss. People speculated, some even admired it, but for a physician's eye, it was a glaring signal that something deeper was wrong. Jobs himself later admitted that health is the one thing you can't buy back, no matter how much money or brilliance you have. His story reminds us that unexplained changes in weight are not victories, they're red flags, and they deserve respect. 3. Slow healing wounds and frequent infections. One of the silent but powerful indicators of diabetes is when small cuts, scratches, or blisters refuse to heal. High blood sugar damages blood vessels and nerves, slowing down circulation and weakening the immune system. What should heal in days can drag on for weeks. And with time, even a tiny wound can turn into a serious infection. History gives us a striking parallel. President Franklin Roosevelt, despite being one of the most powerful leaders in history, faced declining health due to circulation problems that affected healing and strength. His struggle shows us a sobering truth. Even the most influential figures can't escape biology. When healing slows, it isn't just a nuisance, it's a warning that the foundation of health is cracking. The lesson here is simple. If your body takes unusually long to recover from small wounds, don't dismiss it as just aging. It may be your body's way of sounding the alarm before something bigger takes hold. 4. Blurry vision that comes and goes. Another sign that often slips under the radar is vision that seems to change from one day to the next. High blood sugar causes fluid shifts inside the lens of the eye, making it swell and change focus. One day you read the newspaper clearly, the next day the letters blur. Many people blame it on getting older or needing stronger glasses, when in fact, it's the chemistry of diabetes at work. I remember a patient in her early 60s who came to me insisting that her optometrist had given her the wrong prescription. She kept buying new reading glasses because her vision seemed to change every few weeks. When we tested her blood sugar, the truth became clear. It wasn't her glasses, it was her blood sugar swinging up and down, playing tricks on her eyesight. The lesson here is simple. When vision changes back and forth like a flickering light, it's not just time for new glasses, it's time to listen to what your body is really saying. 5. Constant fatigue. This isn't the ordinary tiredness that fades after a nap or a cup of coffee. This is a deep, lingering exhaustion where every task feels heavier than it should. Medically, it happens because your cells are starving. Sugar, the body's main source of energy, is stuck in the bloodstream, unable to get inside the cells to fuel you. The result is fatigue that feels endless. I once treated a retired teacher in her late 60s who confessed she no longer had the strength to walk around the block. She said, "Doctor, I feel like my body's battery drains before noon." She thought it was just old age catching up with her. But tests revealed uncontrolled blood sugar was the thief stealing her energy day after day. Even some of the most powerful figures in the world have spoken about energy as the true currency of life. Bill Gates often emphasizes that focus and stamina, not money, are what sustain real productivity. Without energy, even the brightest minds slow down. Diabetes robs people of that spark long before they recognize what's happening. The lesson is clear. If fatigue feels constant, disproportionate, and unshakable, it's not just aging. It's your body signaling that something deeper may be wrong and it deserves attention. Each of these signs, on its own, may seem small, but together they form a pattern, and patterns in medicine matter. The real tragedy is not that diabetes develops, but that it develops quietly while we explain away the whispers as just getting older. Now, here's the encouraging truth. Type 2 diabetes doesn't strike like lightning. It builds slowly, and that means you have a window, a chance to act before it takes control. Those early whispers from your body aren't punishments. They're warnings. They're opportunities. I once had a patient who told me, "Doc, I wish my body had just sent me a text message." I smiled and said, "It already did. The thirst, the fatigue, the blurry vision, that was the message. You just didn't open it." The smartest next step isn't complicated. Talk to your doctor, ask for a simple blood test, and know your numbers. Hemoglobin A, 1C, fasting glucose, these aren't just medical terms, they're your body's financial report card. Without them, you're running blind. Think of Bill Gates. He often says that you cannot improve what you don't measure. That philosophy built Microsoft, and it applies perfectly to health. If you don't track your blood sugar, you'll never know where you stand until the damage is done. Even global leaders, people like Barack Obama, made preventive health a priority during the stress of the presidency. He did it not because he was sick, but because he knew his energy and clarity depended on it. If a man carrying the weight of the free world could take time to monitor his health, surely we can take an hour to get a blood test. Knowledge in this case isn't just power, it's protection. It can give you years of clarity, years of independence, and years of life lived on your own terms. One of my patients once told me, "Doctor, I wish I could turn back the clock 10 years and prevent this from happening." I told him, "You can't turn back the clock, but you can stop it from ticking faster." That's the gift of prevention. And prevention isn't complicated. It's built on choices so simple, they almost feel ordinary. But done consistently, they become extraordinary. Just look at people like Michelle Obama, who built a movement around food, or Bill Gates, who treats health data like financial data measured, tracked, and acted upon. So, let's walk through the everyday habits that can protect your blood sugar and preserve your independence. Prevention and healthy habits. 1. Focus on food, fuel, don't feed sugar. Food is not just calories, it's information for your body. Every bite tells your blood vessels, your pancreas, and your cells how to behave. When you fill half your plate with colorful vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins, you're sending your body the message, heal, don't harm. On the global stage, Michelle Obama captured this truth with her Let's Move initiative. She reminded America that prevention doesn't start at the pharmacy counter, but at the dinner table. Her campaign wasn't about elite athletes or celebrity chefs. It was about ordinary families learning that broccoli, beans, and whole wheat bread can be more powerful than any pill when it comes to preventing disease. And she was right. I've seen it time and again in my practice. Simple food choices today build the health we stand on tomorrow. Even the most powerful leaders can't negotiate with biology. Whether you're the first lady or a retiree in your kitchen, the principle is the same. Fuel your body, don't feed sugar. 2. Move your body every day. Movement is not punishment, it's medicine. When you walk, stretch, or simply get your body moving, your muscles act like sponges, soaking up sugar from your blood and using it as fuel. This single act lowers blood sugar naturally, protects your heart, and even sharpens your mind. The lesson is simple. Movement isn't optional. It's the cheapest, most accessible prescription you'll ever receive. And its side effects, more energy, better sleep, lower blood sugar, are exactly what we need to thrive after 50. 3. Sleep and stress management. Diabetes doesn't just come from what we eat or how much we move. It also thrives in bodies deprived of rest. When you don't sleep enough, your stress hormone, cortisol, rises. Cortisol pushes blood sugar higher, keeps you hungrier, and leaves your body in a constant state of alarm. Chronic stress has the exact same effect, like a slow leak that eventually sinks the ship. I once treated a retired businesswoman who prided herself on being productive late into the night. She told me, "I'll sleep when I'm dead." But her blood test told another story. Her sugar was climbing, her blood pressure rising. We worked on building simple sleep rituals, turning off screens before bed, light stretching, and prayer to calm her mind. Within 3 months, her sugar stabilized, and she admitted, "Doctor, I never realized rest could be medicine." Arianna Huffington, co-founder of the Huffington Post, went through a similar awakening. She built her empire on long hours until one day, exhaustion caused her to collapse at her desk. That moment turned her into one of the world's loudest advocates for sleep. She often says, "Sleep is a performance enhancer." She learned the hard way that without rest, even the most powerful minds and bodies will break down. The truth is simple. Sleep and stress are silent levers of health. When you respect them, your blood sugar stabilizes, your energy rises, and your resilience returns. After 50, rest isn't a luxury, it's your most powerful prescription. Number 4. Regular checkups. Measure what matters. The last pillar of prevention is simple but often ignored. Regular checkups. A fasting blood test, or A1C, can reveal diabetes years before symptoms take hold. Too many people wait until they feel sick, but by then, damage is already underway. Blood vessels, nerves, kidneys, all quietly affected. I recall a patient who avoided doctors for nearly a decade. He told me, "Doc, I don't go in because I don't want bad news. But when he finally came, his blood sugar was double the safe range, and the damage had begun. What struck me most was his regret. If I had just checked earlier, maybe I could have prevented this. It reminds me of Warren Buffett's famous philosophy: you can't manage what you don't measure. He checks his investments constantly, never assuming they're safe without data. He applies the same principle to his health, scheduling regular screenings. That discipline is why he continues to thrive well into his 90s. The truth is, prevention is not about fear, it's about information. Knowing your numbers gives you control. It's the difference between steering your own ship and drifting until the rocks appear. For those of us over 50, that knowledge can mean extra years of clarity, independence, and life lived on our own terms. Your body is always speaking. Sometimes it shouts, but far more often, it whispers. After 50, the secret to living well isn't about chasing perfection, it's about learning how to listen. So remember, honor those whispers, act early, and treat prevention as your strongest medicine. That simple choice can give you more years of clarity, more years of independence, and more years with the people you love. And if today's message gave you something to think about, I'd be so grateful if you'd hit that like button, share this video with someone you care about, and subscribe to Senior Health After 50. Together, we're building a community where aging isn't about decline, it's about living with strength, dignity, and purpose.